What is up, YouTube? That's here today. I'm back for more Pokemon VGC 2023 Regulation D ranked battles, and today we're doing more Patreon team fixing, and we're going to be fixing a team submitted by Teddy Pup that uses Annihilape and Mouse. It's one of my absolute favorite cores. I still think Maushold is really strong in Regulation D, and it's going to be a solid core for all of Pokemon history moving forward if they're ever in the same decks. The ability to go for beat-ups, enabling those Rage Fist, it's so good, but there's so much more that it brings to the table than just being able to lead Mouse Ape. You want to be able to lead Speed Control, you want to be able to lead with Fake Outs, and lead with other Mons that force your opponent to respect Mouse Ape so you can punish them with other forms of control. So you can actually activate your Annihilape into like a checkmate piece in the later stages of the game. Like I said, this team is submitted on Patreon. There's a huge team submission post. We work on these teams 5-6 days a week. Like I said, this team is submitted by Teddy Pup. They said they've been using this team for about a week or so. They think the team has great synergy. However, it's not quite there, if you know what I mean. Please look over the specs and make any changes you would feel would be helpful. And I think this team's really good. I think the EVs on a couple of these Mons need a little bit of cleanup, but I think this team's biggest issue is that it doesn't really have a pivot Mon, right? So you have like your Mouse Ape, and that's cool, and you have your bundle, which is fine. I really like the Sash bundle on this team, actually. You have your faster speed control on the Tailwind, Talonflame, and which is fine. It crosses a little bit with the Dragonite because why are you enabling speed control on a Mon that uses priority moves? But yeah, this Dragonite I feel really falls short. If we ever need a get out of jail free card for our Annihilape, we don't have one with this team. We can pivot into a Dragonite, which has the same weakness to Fairy. We can pivot into an Iron Hands, which has the same weakness to Psychic and Fairy. I feel like this Mon right here doesn't need to really come to this matchup. This Dragonite isn't really adding anything that the other Mons in this team don't already do just as well, if not better. If we need big priority moves, we can just use like Talonflame with Brave Bird. If we need steel moves like an Iron Head, we can just use Heavy Slam from here. If we need like an Ice Spinner, we can just use an Ice Attack over here from the bundle. So like Dragonite's not really adding anything that we don't already have on this team. And I think if we were to change the team and make it just a little bit more balanced to give it a little bit more fluidity in its gameplay, that we can actually make something really cool happen. So what I'm going to do here is, for those of you guys that haven't seen this little series, I'm going to play 2 or 3 games with this team on the ranked ladder just to show how the team plays as submitted. We're going to get a general feel for it, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to change the team to what I would use, or the changes that I would make to make it perform as, you know, optimally as possible. So if you guys like that, sit back, max, relax. Don't forget to answer the question today. I might be doing some shiny hunting on Twitch this week, so let me know what your longest shiny hunt of all time was, what the Pokemon was, and any struggles you fought along the way. So with that out of the way, let's just get right into these battles. Wish me luck. Here we go. Alright, here we go. Shenpao, Lando, Goodra. Goodra with Grim. Grim screens, really good stuff. I think this is all going to be probably pretty hard to deal with, but I do think that like Mouse Ape has a pretty good matchup into this sort of stuff. I just want to make sure we are using the right Maushold. Cool. So Maushold set's good. We should be good to go here. We could even think about leading like Talonflame Ape. I wonder how often you actually are leading like Talonflame Ape when you're personally playing this team. I think Mouse Ape on paper looks really good, but there's a lot of things you can get done by going like Talonflame Ape, going with like a Tailwind, especially against teams that don't have dynamic speed control. You would Tailwind do a free bulk up. If they KO the Talonflame, that's fine, you bring out the Mouse. If they don't KO the Tailwind, you go Protect, weave in the Mouse, and then you go for like a +4 beat up, but you already have that +1, and now you have speed control to be able to be a bully. So these are going to be really good. And then I'm thinking like what we need to bring to close out this game, and I'm going to bring the bundle just because like Freeze Dry and Hydro Pumps are good versus things like Lando and potential Urshi Waters. I like the Sash bundle here, by the way, too. I think it's a very good choice on this team. We already outspeed all those Mons, so we should be good to go. And yeah, if they want to play passive with things like Landorus or passive with things like Grim, we should be able to punish them with Annihilape here. I think Annihilape's still a really good Mon. But my biggest issue with this team, if there was one, right, is that when you're using like Mouse Ape and you need to like pivot Ape out or bring in another Mon with like a different typing, you have like Fairy Weakness here, Fairy Weakness here, you have Fairy Weakness here. You have nothing to switch to that doesn't have a Fairy Weakness or isn't like a Glass Cannon like Talonflame or Bundle. So that's going to be something we want to maybe fix moving forward. Note that I didn't bring the Dragonite here for pretty much those reasons. So we see Grim Shenpao. They can do a lot of different stuff here. They can go Fake Outs into the Talonflame. Not much we can do against that. If they do that, we do get a free bulk up. They can go for like a big nuke into one of these guys, but I think what I'm going to do here is just open up with the big Tailwind. Don't need to do anything spectacular right now and just go for a free bulk up. Just a free bulk up. I also think in this format, it would be a good idea to think about having a Rocky Helmet Mon to be able to pivot in and block these sort of like fake out all-in turns from your opponents. It's just really good. Also like disincentivize Urshi a lot. So we get a free Tailwind up, which means next turn we can just double into that Chimp House slot. And Reflect. I think Drain Punch plus Feint would still get that if I wanted to be that guy. If I wanted to be that guy, and they can't Spirit Break us because we're Annihilate, so we're in a really, really good spot here. We also don't need to use Fair Blitz or Brave Bird. We can just go for a Feint. Not that we like need to use Feint here, but Feint would play around. Well, Sucker Punch wouldn't really matter. We have priority here. We don't want to take. Well, we have Life Orb too. Let me think about that. We should probably just go for the big damage then. But I don't want to take the big recoil. Let's think, like, what could they swap to if they were to swap? Because they know they're pinned right now. I'll go for a Brave Bird. It's decent against most of those. And because it is also boosted by the priority, so Sucker Punch would fail. If I Flare Blitz, they could go for Sucker Punch. I'm going to do this. If they would like to go Ghost Tera, the options in their court, but they're definitely switching here. So if they bring in the Lando here, they're going to take a ton of damage still and give us a boost. Moltres takes neutral damage from these, and I think they got up the Reflect, and this should be fine. I don't think they KO Talonflame here with anything. Yeah, it's still a lot of damage. And then next turn, if they were to like weave in something weird, we could just go for like a Feint. Misty Terrain. Is it Misty Seeds Moltres? What a Chad. What an absolute Chad. I love this if it's Misty Seeds. It's not. You're weak, bro. You're weak. You're weak. Okay, I think the right play in this exact situation, is it Citrus or Pinch? It could be Citrus. Okay, so we're just going to attack again then. Double up into the same spot. I'm trying to think like what we need to do differently. At this point, I will mix it up and maybe Flare Blitz, because then they might... No, they're just going to stand. We don't need to show that we even have Flare Blitz as an option. Just Drain Punch is fine. I wonder why they did that. Maybe they thought it was going to Wisp the Grim. Brave Bird, cool. We need to actually do this much damage, I think. Yeah, because then this would redirect our Drain Punch into the Grimmsnarl. So good stuff. Good stuff so far. Things are definitely going according to plan. This is the difference that like Talonflame gives that things like Tornadus don't really give in terms of like being very aggressive. We have options to Feint. We still have that priority Tailwind, but at a higher speed tier. And then, oh, that's... I don't know about that one, Chief, because like now I get a boost all the way to the bank, yo. And then our Drain Punches are actually going to do something. I'm probably going... Let's see what they want to bring out. Let's see what they want to bring out. I might Terastallize next turn. But let's see. Because they also could Tera here too. Like if they actually go with Shempao, I think I might double into the Shempao with the Drain Punch Feint. But yeah, Talonflame's a lot more aggressive. It's a very, very underrated mon. Very, very good mon, especially on like these ladder games because you can just bully people out of the game. They can definitely go Tera here. I could just drop a Protect if I wanted to and get an extra lefties tick, but I don't know if they would actually go Ghost Tera. So if they want to go Ghost Tera, if they want to be the Ghost with the most, let's force it. I mean, we have all the right tools to still win the game in the back. Because they can only get like one KO here. Yeah, Feint, break up that Sash, no Protects, and then we should still outspeed. Sucker Punch, go for it. Yep. Doesn't get the KO because we got that big bulk up. Remember, it's neutral damage. We didn't have to Tera away. Big damage. You'll literally drink in that Shempao out here. That is what we like to see. And you can Spirit Break one more time if you want. I think the only thing that takes Annihilape out here is a crit Spirit Break. And we're good. So next turn we can just go Protect Tailwind. If they happen to nuke the Talonflame in that situation, Talonflame would go down. We would bring up Mouse and we go Redirection. Just like Redirect, Follow Me, and just start KOing things. Pop, 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 pop. So the Grim is pretty underwhelming in this matchup. But we are going to want to try and get our Tailwind back up. I wonder if it's going to be Goodra here. It is. Goodra can get dicey. I'm not going to lie to you guys and tell you guys it's not going to get dicey because it can. I think in this situation the right play is to just double into the Grim. We don't need to reveal that we even have Flare Blitz. We don't need to go Tera anything weird. We just need to get the Grim off the board. And then they'll get like their one Shelter off and then we'll be fine. Because they're probably going to Terastallize the Goodra here into like, I'm thinking maybe Fairy. So we want to like see that, force that, not even play into water. Relatively the same thing. They just wanted to lose the fighting weakness. We wanted to force the Goodra to reveal the resources of Tera, punish the Grimmsnarl set, because like that's where, you know, if they wanted to protect Goodra, oh, and we crit. So this is going to redirect into the Goodra, which is great. Like that's also just that's the advantage we get from like actually targeting correctly too. So it's really, really cool. And we don't need to Tailwind versus Goodra, which is why we didn't. And so remember, we're at like +3. Like, oh my gosh, dude, we're just going to drink this Goodra here. So you can see, this is a perfect example of a game where we didn't have to switch, so we maintained board control the whole time, and we were in just an absolutely amazing situation. But if you take a look at like the actual teammates here, We brought Mouse and Bundle in the back, which means, yes, we can swap in something from Mouse if we need to, but then like that Mouse could actually take a lot of damage, and once Mouse is gone, we're out of pivots. I actually think the best thing to do here is make this Pokemon, this Dragonite, into a better defensive pivot to cover up for some of Hands and Annihilape's weaknesses. I think if we made this into like a Cresselia, this team could have a lot more win conditions moving forward, but maybe we'll fix that after we get done with this game. So let's just go big damage. What's our Tera here? Ghost. Bam. This Rage Fist is going to pop off out here. You can even protect, doesn't really matter to me. Battle was canceled, we take those wins. Like I said, maybe making this a Cresselia can give us a few different other win cons. So we can start leading like Mouse, sorry, not Mouse, but like Ape Cress, and we can go for like Protect Ape, Icy Winds, and so we don't, it's a secondary speed control mon or like a Protect Thunder Wave, and then we also have the Lunar Blessings. For like, let's say we wanted to lead Mouse Ape in any game situations, we can then bring in the Cress after the Mouse is gone. It's that Rocky Helmet user like I was talking about to stop things like Urshi, stop things like Shempao and Dragonites from being able to bully us, break those sashes, and then Cresselia can just like weave in those Lunar Blessings on Ape and basically make our Ape, once we've set it up, be able to live forever. I think it's a very, very solid mon. I think it also gives us a little bit more of a play against Trick Room. I think Dragonite's a solid mon, right? But it doesn't do anything that this team doesn't need. We don't need like a big Dragonite to come out and just go like normal Tera, E-Speed, stuff like that if we're trying to go for like a Mouse Ape Hands play. I feel like the Mouse... the Dragonite, the Ape, and the Hands all basically do the same thing. They have relatively similar weaknesses. And I feel like maybe adding Cress here also could give another option with like Hands and Cress for like a potential pseudo Trick Room tech board, that board state where you go like Hands, Cress, Ape, Mouse in the back or something like that. Could be really cool. But we're going to go play a couple more games and see if the team still works as intended, and see if like maybe a Cress would be able to slot in to secure some wins that we wouldn't have had otherwise. Regieleki with Rilla Sneasler. Sneasler can actually be a problem, but I think Ape is good against it. So this is another matchup where I do think something like Talonflame could be very good, especially because, well, I think Talonflame could be very good here. It would force fake outs, and if they're going to be fake outing Talonflame, like, what would they be able to... You see, like, if I had Cress here, we could just lead Cress Ape. I'm like, what would they possibly do to Cress Ape? There's nothing that board can do to break it. But let's see. Talonflame could be very good if they have two Fake-Out users. And I feel like we would easily get Fake-Outed. We could try and lead the Mouse Ape, right? But then if I'm the opponent, what I'm doing is just... I mean, we could bait the Fake-Out with the Covert Cloak, but we actually shouldn't be using Covert Cloak here. So I don't know if I actually want to lean into this. Covert Cloak's an okay item, but it would be much better off on our Talonflame. Let's think about what we need to do here. I don't think there's an issue with like Hands Ape. Hands Ape seems very nice. And then we would go Mouse. And again, I don't think we need like Bundle. I don't even think we need like, sorry, I don't think we need Dragonite here. I don't think Dragonite really does anything for us. And if you were to keep the Dragonite, if you really liked it, you would definitely want Stomping Tantrum over Icy Wind or Ice Spinner, in my opinion. Let's see. We still have a little bit of time. We're trying to set up for Ape to win the whole thing. Yeah, we're going to go Talonflame in the back. The reason why we're not bringing Bundle in the back, it's definitely worth noting that if Bundle doesn't have any additional speed control, right, we're taking a look at your Bundle set. You have Icy Wind here, but Icy Wind only really works on bundles that have booster energy, because, like, we can't lower that Regieleki's speed if we're slower than it, right? We can't lower, like, other Pokemon's, like, for example, if they have, like, a booster Flutter and we were using a Sash bundle and we were, like, Icy Wind, it'd be really hard to make that work. So let's see if it's booster Flutter, which I think it probably is here. And if it's not, it's probably like Specs. There's the booster. It's going to probably be, I would say, it could be special attack, but it could be speed here too. Speed, right? So that means if I were to lead Bundle here, that would have been an automatic L. Like straight up, they would go Electro, D-Wave, Bundle would be off the board, right? So the idea that we want to go with here is we can fake out this Leki, soak the Gleam, and as weird as it sounds, I'm going to fake out the Leki. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So fake out Leki. I hope they're not Covert Cloak, right? We're just hoping. What's our Tera on hands? I'm just curious. Grass. Okay. Fake out Leki. I'm wondering if I should go Drain Punch or Rage Fist. I don't know if like which one we need to do. Lekis could be built very bulky. We have Fire Tear here. I'm actually just going to use this now because I'm not afraid of whatever they're going to do in this game. And then next turn, well, let's see what happens. The plan next turn will be to like protect Ape, mitigate some damage, try and bring in Talonflame, get up some speed control, maybe at the cost of like that Flutter Mane. Looks like they're not clicking Tera this turn, so it's not gonna be like a Ghost Tera Leki. They would have already went there for that first. I hope the Flutter protects, but like let's see. Yeah, see, that's the biggest way that you can disrespect a Flutter player. Like It's hard to explain. Great double protect from them. But you always want to like disrespect a Flutter's ability to like, how do I word this? It's just so common on booster Flutters to have like subs and protects and like weave those in. You can just ignore it for a lot of the time. Yes, we went Tera, but we didn't like need to in that situation. And now, because this is the board state that they're showing, I think we can actually just go with like, what I'm going to do is go heavy slam here. No, I'm going to heavy slam the Flutter. I was going to say have it redirect. I don't really care about this Lucky as much as they might think. And I'm actually just going to protect here. There's two ways that we can do that. This is fine. We don't need to play as aggressive as you might think. They were just trying to wait out the fake out, so we can actually just chill. Super chill. Like, absolute chill. I actually want them to, like, Volt Switch. But let's see what they do. Thunderbolt. Same thing. They're just staying on the board, right? So, don't, like, you want to dangle the ape here, right? You want to say, hey, you want this, right? You want this thing? You can come get this thing. They should go down. Yep. So that Flutter's down. That's the booster Flutter down, which means now we don't really have to care what they do. We can KO that Regieleki with whatever we feel like. And this is where, again, if we had a Cress to be able to, like, soak a little bit of damage, pivot in that Cress, right? Get a Rocky Helmet proc on one of those Mons, and then maybe be able to, like, Lunar Blessing the damage that we take. This would be the exact sort of thing that you need to, like, finish off a game. Because we dealt with their aggressive lead. We need to mitigate the damage for, like, one more turn, and then, like, Ape would just win. Let's think about what we need to do here. I think there's nothing really wrong with like pivoting out the hands for something like Mouse is going to activate Friend Guard and is going to reset our fake up for later. And then from there, I think I'm just going to Rage Fist the Lucky just to get that guy some damage. I wonder if they're going to pivot out. Looks like they're not pivoting unless they're Volt Switching Gorilla. And remember, we have gone Fire Tera, so we don't really have to care about like acrobatics, but we can just eat a close combat. There's the fake out. Absolutely fine. That's a Rage Fist tick. You see, if we had that Cresselia here, we'd be able to just next turn protect Ape, Lunar Blessing that off, Lunar Blessing all that damage away, and it'd be great. Another thing that I would highly recommend here is we're taking a look at like your Mouse. It'd be really beneficial to actually have Protect here. There's no reason to have no Protect. Like I understand the Covert Cloak, so you don't have to worry about Fake Out, but you need to have Protector so you can double protect with both of these Mons to actually make your Leftovers worth. Because right now we have 0 value on our Leftovers. We are gonna be fine. What we're gonna do is pivot in the Iron Hands. And we're going to protect here. And then we're going to have another fake out pin. But you see, if we just had the option to go double protect, I probably would. Double protect, bait the attack from them, see if they're locking in close combat, then, you know, see what we want to do from there. But we can just play this super passive just like we did on the first turn of the game. And if any one of these guys protects, we just punch it next turn. Thunderbolt, yeah, they're just going for damage. And so we got to think, like, which one of these Mons is more damage? It's probably going to be Sneasler. I would also say that Sneasler is the Mon that has a much higher percentage, a much lower percentage of having Protect. It's already shown Fake Out, right? So Fake Out, Dire Claw, right? I don't know if they have Protect on there. Regieleki's already shown Protect, so we know it could have it, so it means we don't have to Fake Out Lucky. We can just go Fake Out into the Sneasler. I could technically bulk up here. I'm just going to Rage Fist the Sneasler. I think that's fine. Cool. So we're going to soak some... Oh my goodness, that's so much damage. So much damage. Hopefully don't get parried. If we did get parried, you know, it would solve that, Cresselia. Alright, so there's a flinch right there. Big Rage Fist. We've already gotten 3 ticks. Nice. So we're going to protect again. Next turn, get those Leftovers ticks going. And you can see, like, just like they said when they submitted the team works, but it's missing that little extra something. You can see I've already given, like, 4 or 5 situations where like, Cress would just chef's kiss end this game after that aggressive turn 1 from our opponent. Rilla. We knew they had the Rilla there somewhere. We're actually going to really like to see this Rilla. I think that there's nothing at all wrong with pivoting out here for the Maushold. Just to get this thing off the board, get ourselves ready to go for Follow Me's, and let ourselves go for like a Protect plus the, Grassy Terrain on our Leftovers. And if they want to nuke it in the Maushold, we are using a Maushold that's like 252 HP, 236 plus Nature, Spadef. So like they shouldn't be able to OHKO us unless they double into that slot. They could probably also be fake outing, but like they are Thunderbolt and Mouse. They are clicking a Woodhammer. Are they wising up out here? They are. They are wising up. Hey, you know what? There's nothing wrong with this because you know what this means, right? You know what this means? That's a good play from our opponent. That is the right play. Yo, it looks like someone just followed. We're not streaming. This is the same software I use to record my videos, and someone just followed. This is your reminder to follow the YouTube channel. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that KO is very good from our opponent. That's the right play, but now we just bring out another fake out user or a Tailwind user. I think we're gonna bring out the fake out user here. And I think I'm going to just fake out the Lecky because we know that slot's like definitely fake outable. break that sash if it's there. And I think Rage Fist would just KO the Rilla from here. We're at like +4 ticks. Yeah, Protect Lucky's absolutely fine. No big deal. And Rilla shouldn't have Protect. Yeah, it should not. So you may say, why didn't you just fake out Rilla then? I didn't want to get crit by the Lucky. I think at this point we already have enough resources to where like we're definitely safe and secure. Even if they don't get the KO, like what are they going to do here? Stomping Tantrum, a good play. I didn't think they'd have that. We're not dead yet though. We are faster than they are. So that means all we got to do is take out this Lucky and we're good. What I'm going to do this turn is just protect my Ape and go for a KO into the Rilla with like a Drain Punch. I think that should be able to get the KO. This is a very aggressive hand set. And then it's Lucky versus the world. We still have a Talonflame in the back if we need it. And we can always just reset fake outs and stuff like that. Remember, you keep your Rage Fist procs when you swap out. And like we said, Rilla shouldn't have Protect. That's obviously very bulky. Thunderbolt, nope. Yeah, it's like how many times we baited them into attacking this Annihilape slot, dude? How many times? And they can like Stomp Tantrum hands, it just doesn't do anything, you know? Like hands is thick, and we're gonna make this hands even thicker. Even thicker. Thicker than a Snicker. Iron Hands. Here forever. Alright, so in this situation, like, we'll let them KO the Annihilape if they really think they can. But I think we're good. We don't need to pivot. I think Iron Hands can just 1v1 this guy. But like, look how much health we've restored this game. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And I don't think that we could have OHKO'd Lucky there with like a Drain Punch. Also, like just getting the Rillaboom off the board, forcing your opponent to buy like a 1v3 is a much smarter play, I would say. So Drain Punch there. You might as well just go for a Rage Fist here. And we should be able to get it. Battle was canceled, and we take those wins. Now, we did win that one. We did win the one before it. But again, hopefully you can understand that like maybe a Cresselia would be a little bit better here. Because we didn't even need the Talonflame. But we would have 2 or 3 times in that game swapped in a Cress, gotten like a Rocky Helmet proc, Lunar Blessing, swap back out to get a Friend Guard boost, enable to Annihilate. And so you can see how something like a Cress would really be that like finishing blow to help us get over the hurdles after like holding our opponents all in on turn 1 from like hyper aggressive teams. All right, so those 2 games really showed how the team likes to play when it's at an advantageous situation, but hopefully you realized I showed a couple examples where like playing passively with the team, I think that's where this team really excels, is playing passively, getting those speed control, and actually allowing Annihilape to be the checkmate piece that it needs to be. That's how I would play the team to actually give it a much higher win rate than you would probably have just by leading Maushold and Annihilape every single game. We really suggested using Cresselia instead of Dragonite, because again, I think this Dragonite doesn't really do that much for the team. It's not the defensive pivot the team needs. And there's so many things you can gain from having a defensive pivot. It can get your Talonflame out of jail if it's like really pinned. It can get your hands out of jail to reset fake out. It can get your Maushold or Annihilape, but both have weaknesses to things like fighting and psychic, which Cresselia resists both of those out of jail. It's a great pivot for your bundle if your bundle is pinned too. I also don't know if you really need Icy Wind here. But, you know, we can talk about maybe a couple other moves. I think maybe even Encore could be a good play because it's really, really good against those, like, wall teams. You can also just, like, go... What I really like to do with Bundle with Encore, right, is to go turn 1, like, Ghost Tera, bait the fake out because they see that you're Sash, which means you don't have a booster. So they see that, right? So they fake out you, and then you just immediately turn 1, fake them out right back. So, like, against a Rilla, like, turn 1, you can just click Encore before they even make any moves, knowing full well they're going to click fake out into something, especially if you have another teammate that like could bait them into fake outing as well. So like if you were to lead like Talonflame with like a Cloak and a bundle, they're going to fake out something there and then they're immediately Encore locked. It's so nice. So let's take a look at a couple things we might want to change. Definitely going to clean up some of the EVs here as well. So again, we wanted to make this into a Cresselia. I would think that's probably a much better Pokemon for the team. It's that second defensive pivot other than Maushold and hands the team definitely needs. So taking a look at this hands, I also am just not really sold on hands that has like full attack. I know a lot of people really like it, and I'm going to change it, but if you are comfortable with this hand set, you saw that it worked fine in your match. Realistically, I think that hands needs to be a lot bulkier than people generally make it. Your Adamant Nature does just as much. Like all these extra points, your attack stat is so high. You're getting not like diminishing returns on your attack stat really, but basically it's just a waste. Like anything that's a one shot, still gonna be a one shot here as it is right here, realistically. I also personally would just make sure, like, so we're gonna take a look at Iron Hands, right? So let's take a look at hands. Take a look at the Iron Hands and be sure to set everything to 50. And let's plug in like a Tornadus. I think Tornadus is like the one mon that like you have to make sure that you can KO. Super, super important to be able to KO Tornadus in my opinion. And basically, we have Wild Charge. And let's plug in like Thunder Punch too. Let's plug in Thunder Punch. Right, and so you see, you big Oko this Tornadus with like Wild Charge. Thunder Punch is very, very close. Let's give ourselves Adamant Nature. So like big Oko, and like you see, it goes from 129 and 109. If you give full attack investment, it's still getting those things. Like you still get them, even at like -1. You're still getting it. So like if that's what you want, if they were to lead like Intimidator in that works. But realistically, they shouldn't be leading Intimidators versus your Iron Hands. And realistically, what I would want to do is make sure that this always O-code. So like you always can O-code a sweeper Torn, which I think you can probably get there with very limited investment. Like it looks, you don't even need any investment to still be able to KO that with Wild Charge. That's ridiculous, right? So let's see, how much will we actually need to KO with Thunder Punch? I'm just curious. 144? Yeah, that's a good number. That's a really good number. Let's see how much damage we would need to KO Fluttermane. So with something like a Heavy Slam. I think that's another one that's definitely worth looking into. So Heavy Slam against Flutter, look how much damage that deals. It's so overkill to go that deep. Let's say we're intimidated. And let's say they have like a lot of bulk. That's still pretty much a KO on the 144, right? And even if we take off all of our points, that still potentially could KO. Even if we take out all the points and weren't intimidated, we'd still get the KO. Let's take a look at like an Urshi Water. So Urshifu Rapid Strike, be sure to set these to 50. And make sure that like these Wild Charges, that's what we want to check, is to make sure that these Wild Charges can always Oko that guy. I mean, realistically, that's how much you need to Oko Urshi Water, but they're going to take some chip at some point. So like maybe like a Feint plus the Wild Charge will be able to get the KO, and Feint's going to do probably about 6 or 7%. So we can drop this all the way down to like 94. So realistically, remember we had a 144 right there. Feint plus the Wild Charge would always Oko a Sash Urshi Water. So I think the 144 is a much better spread here. And then we have all these extra points to work with. Realistically, you know, I would still say you want like a ton of points there. But then we can take some of these out. And then I would even take maybe just a little bit more out. I'd want to always at least have 12 points in speed to be able to outspeed other Iron Hands, so my fake outs can go before their fake outs. So that makes your set look like this. And 140 is a fine HP stat. Remember to set these to level 100 or set these level 50. I'm doing the EVs the way they could be done, but always set your teams to level 50. EVs are set differently at level 100 and level 50, so you always want to make sure that your EVs are set for level 50. But realistically, like this set works just fine. Just making sure on something. You can actually go 136 here, right? No, it's 140. And it's 140, and this is actually 140 right here. This is another 140, and then you can go 4 there, right? That's the right way to do it. Just making sure. So you can see 139, it ends at 194. We need to get to 195, which is the number we need to get to, which is 140. So hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, this hands hits just as hard, but it's a lot more bulky, and it's actually just a little bit faster. So I think this is generally just an upgrade in most of the situations for your Iron Hands. You're going to be able to soak a lot more damage, you're going to be able to deal just as much damage, and just generally be a better Pokemon. Talonflame, I think Life Orb on some sets on Talonflame in previous formats, if you're pairing it with like a Garchomp or other like really hyper-aggressive mons, Life Orb is a good item. But we want Covert Cloak here. We want Covert Cloak here because this also unlocks our ability to waste our Tera, which is basically Annihilape's biggest resource, is the ability to like, where are you tearing? Are you tearing your ape? Are you tearing your crest? Tearing your mouse? That's a really big mind game for the Annihilape matchup. You don't want to waste that on Talonflame. You can definitely use your item for that situation, and always say you can go for Tailwind. So we don't necessarily need Ghost here. I would say if this was me, you can go with a defensive Tera of some sort, but realistically, I would just go with Flying and double dip my Brave Bird damage. I think you can keep Feint. This also, because we didn't have Covert Cloak before, we couldn't just go for like a double protect turn 1 to wait out fake out. And now like we have all the resources to just be a bully. You still do want to be full speed nature because you want to outspeed Meowscaradas, which is, it pops up every now and then, and you only outspeed it by a couple points, so it speed creeps things that speed creep Meowscarada. So I think this is fine, but I would just double dip my flying typing if I were you. On this guy, you do not need Covert Cloak at all, not even a little bit. I think you need safety goggles, otherwise this Pokemon doesn't really work. They just lead Amoonguss against you and you automatically lose. They just lead Amoonguss against you and you lose, game over. You can also think about putting a Citrus here, but If they just lead Amoonguss against you when you lose. This is another one of those mons that you can swap it in on a Spore, and then from there, you pin the Amoonguss by being able to Rage Powder forever. So it's always a check for Amoonguss in any situation. That being said, you definitely need to beat up. You definitely need to follow me. I don't think you need taunt here. Like, what are you taunting? That's a good question, right? Are you taunting, like, let's say, well, I want to be able to taunt Cresselias, or like Orangurus, or like Mimikyus, to stop them from setting Trick Room, because Trick Room's a good match for our team. We're adding things like Cresselia, we're adding things like Cress, we're bulking out our hands, so we don't really care that much about their Trick Room, and in reality, any team that's using like hard Trick Room that you would be able to beat by just taunting, they should be using a Mental Herb. Any wins that you would get means that like you're beating players that like are playing suboptimally, and it's if anything, it's building bad habits. You need to be able to like pair like fake outs or double taunts into those guys to always stop the Trick Room if you know that that's why you have taunt. Like if taunt's there to stop Trick Room, and against good players, it still would not stop the Trick Room, then taunt is not the right option. I do like the Ghost here to be able to stop things that like, so you can just go Ghost Tera to block fake outs if you need it. What I would go with here is Super Fang. Super Fang's fine. There's nothing really wrong with that. We don't have enough speed to actually use Encore. I don't think we really even have enough speed to use taunt correctly, but Super Fang's good. You can just weave and protects, go for those. You can even put a U-turn here in some situations, so you can still deal damage, soak damage with your mouse, and get your Cress in safely. So U-turn is definitely an option, and it's something that if I was playing this team, I would probably put U-turn right here, just so I'd be able to, again, weave in that Cress, weave in that hands a little bit slower to have like a fake out pin for next turn, or get my Tailwind up safely. So that's something that I would use, but, you know, Super Fang is the generally like more standard option, and it's not bad at all, but this is the solid moveset you need. As for the Cress, the moveset that I'm comfortable with is Icy Wind. Icy Wind, Lunar Blessing, Thunder Wave, and I think that Moonblast is still the option here, but for this team, we go Ally Switch. And the reason we have Ally Switch, because again, Mouse Ape is all about enabling your ape to be the checkmate piece and giving yourself just one more turn, just one turn where the ape's not dead. That is the difference between winning a set and losing it. You cannot lose your ape, so this is the last minute get out of jail free card, remember, because Ally Switch will fail if used in succession in this gen. You need to get that ape out of damage range. So we're going to put the Rocky Helmet here, and we're just going to go with a heavy HP Cress. I don't think there's anything that's really wrong with something like that, so we would probably go with like a 12-4 because you don't want to waste the points. And we're just going heavy HP defense, right? Just because we want our Cresselia to... we want the Cresselia to be able to block as much damage on the physical side as possible. We need to get to 107 to outspeed things like Dragapults if we ever get like a Tailwind off. It's just a general good spread. I would say this is a pretty standard Crest set. As for the Tera, you can go Fairy Tera here. It's okay. You can sometimes go Dark Tera to block things like Prankster Taunts. You can go Ghost Tera to stop Fake Outs. I think Fairy Tera is the general standard Tera. You can also go something like Electric to make yourself just not have weaknesses, and it's not bad. But this is a solid spread, and it will definitely get the job done. As for the Ape, I think Ape needs a little bit more HP. I don't think you need this much speed at all. This is my opinion. First of all, Ape only needs to be right here to be able to capitalize off of +1 speed boost. So this is going to be able to outspeed Genies now. If you get the Icy Wind up on them, and outspeed Lycanroc and Maushold and other things like that, other opposing Mausholds, and then you put the rest of these points in the HP, and that stat's looking a lot better. Be able to flesh that out, get it over 200. That's the right spot for Annihilape, because you don't want to get that much diminishing returns, and then you're still just very, very bulky. So it's just cleaning it up just a little bit. I still think Fire is a good Tera. You could think about Poison, but we don't have to really care that much about Will-O-Wisp anymore because we have access to Lunar Blessing. So it's up to you if you want Poison or Fire. I think that Poison's probably better in this meta. But Fire is still good against Chi-Yu. So, like, I completely understand that. Obviously, the main point is to block Fairy attack. So, Fire or Poison, both work. Just play with it at your leisure. As for this guy, again, I would just put Encore here. It's great in those matchups where, again, think about if you had, like, U-turn. So, instead of, like, taunting something, you could let them go for, like, a Shelter. Let them go for, like, a Calm Mind, a Lunar Blessing, anything. U-turn, slower. Bring in your Iron Bundle safely and then just Encore Lock, right? So think about maybe using, U-turn instead of any of those options. Just think about it. It's not that bad. And yeah, think about what you can actually unlock by being able to pivot in your Fake Out user, be able to pivot in your Lunar Blessing Mon or your Ally Switch Mon, be able to pivot in your Tailwind, or be able to pivot in your Uncruiser. You'd use Mouse more as like a point to pivot to actually enable the rest of the team, weave in those bulk ups with the Annihilape, and hopefully get some big wins. So hopefully like these changes, we're going to go play a few games on Showdown and hopefully get some big wins. And yeah, we'll just go climb the ladder with Maushold. Here we go. Holy AoE Batman, like Chi-Yu, Regidrago, Amoonguss. All right, so against a board like this, I don't think there's an issue with leading Talonflame. Talonflame is a much higher base Tailwind than all these other guys. And I actually like the bundle. It's good against that, it's good against that, it's good against all these. So Talonflame bundle's really good. With something like Hands and Ape in the back, I would say. But I'm also going to bring Cress. I'm going to bring Cress here. And then I don't even know if we want to bring Ape. I think Hands is actually better. Cress Hands is actually really cracked here. So even though we are like a Maushold team, I want you to start also thinking about the other flowcharts that you can do with other Pokemon. I think it's pretty important to be able to understand what bundle does bring to the table, what we do see from things like Iron Hands as well. We can just trade Tailwinds. I'm actually like really fine with just like trade Tailwinds, Freeze Dry into like, let's see if they are Scarf Bundle or like Dragon's Maw, right? Because if they protect here, then we can just Encore it, right? We're faster than they are. Next turn. So trade Tailwinds, and if they go for like, let's say we do a lot of damage into this guy and we'll drop like really low, next turn we can just Encore the Torrent into Tailwind, right? Freeze Drive, big damage. Whoa, they're dropping it low. Dragon Energy not doing that much. So in this situation, we can just go for a Brave Bird here, and we Encore the Torrent here, because now our bundle is faster than they are. And if they want to go for like a weird priority move here, they can do that, but like they can't like Icy Wind or Bleak Wind here. And if they want to protect with the Drago, we don't need to show Feint yet. It's not like that important, because we still outspeed with Talonflame. So you can see like how aggressively you can play this team, and like that's a big change having the Encore here, because now the Torrent's going to get locked unless it's Mental Herb, which it definitely still could be. But let's just play into it. There's the Encore, no Mental Herb. Drago goes down. He's stuck using Tailwind, which means now we can just get the Torrent off the board. If we save our Talonflame to the back, then we have Tailwind setters and they don't. And then now what are they bringing out here? Like, what do they bring out? Enamorous. Okay, Enamorous is slower than both these guys unless it's choiced. So we can just click a Brave Bird in that thing and a Freeze Dry to that thing. And if they want to, this would force a Tera from our opponent if they had it. And so that's forcing them to reveal resources, maybe at the cost of one of our Mons, but then we just bring out something like Hands and we have a Fake Out pin. Chi-Yu pivots. Okay, so they're going to make themselves even weaker, right? And this is going to redirect my Brave Bird into the Chi-Yu. Note that we used Brave Bird there because it was getting against all the remaining mons that are on their team. That's why we didn't want to Flare Blitz. Torrent comes back out. Yes, they have speed control. They can go for protects and stuff like that. But I think that in this situation, you just go Feint and Freeze Dry. Now, they could be Scarf Chi-Yu. They definitely could be. Can we beat that? Next turn we can. We have Hands. So Feint, do some damage. Big damage there. So no options from our opponent. We soak the Heat Wave, ain't no thing, do what you want to do, bring out Cress Hands, win the game, right? So Feint, super, super good. Basically solved their team for X with that one. And in this situation, there's not that much that we really need to do here. I don't think we really care. You can just go for Fake Outs. You can go Fake Out, Icy Wind. Nah, it's actually the right play to just Icy Wind and Drain Much. We don't know if they're Cloak. Yeah, they can't break the Hands. The Hands just won't get broken here. If anything, you might have, well, just also just wanted like Lunar Blessing or something. But free damage, take us all the way to the bank, and we're going to go into another one. Hopefully, we'll be able to actually use Ape. All right, here we go. This is a pretty unique board state, like double Genie with Lando. I think against stuff like this, you can always lead Ape, but then we have to bring the right teammates to pair with Ape. We don't necessarily need Talonflame at the lead, but I still think it's a good mon. I think Hands is good. I think you can definitely still just use Bundle, just like we did last game if you wanted to. Let's see. I think Cresselia is also a really, really good pivot. I think we could just lead Maushold versus a lot of this stuff. There's not that much that they actually have that can just stop us from leading Maushold, but I want to respect the Tusk if possible. So that means I'm going to go Hands, Ape, Cress, Mouse, and I'm going to fake out that Tusk if we see it on turn 1. Cool, this is fine. So we can just fake out the Enamorous, go for a Bulk Up. Absolutely fine play from us. And then next turn we just pivot into our Cress or our Mouse, weave in a Protect, play a little bit of a longer game, and let's see what they want to do. Let's see what they want to do. They probably have some sort of like weird contrary like strat. I think that's probably like something, that's what this team does, right? But I think we can get ourselves into a spot where like we actually have a lot of value here. Fairy Tera double dip. Wow, no thanks. Scary Face, they wanted that big value. Holy moly. Now who do you take out here if you're the opponent? Do you go after the Ape, which just got a Bulk Up, which is obviously our checkmate piece, or do you go after the Hands? Probably go after the Hands. I'm going to protect the Ape and just go for the Heavy Slam. Like, if you got it, you got it, bro. You got Reflect. Parting. Okay, they're getting those boosts. I see those boosts. Who they coming in with? An Intimidate user? No way, bro. No way. Oh, they actually did it. I think that means they're checking the ape because they want that off the board. That means they don't care. Yeah, nice. This is good protect from us. Big damage. We were intimidated and we still take that. So cool. If they would have went after the hands, I don't think they would have. I don't know. I think they probably thought they were fine. But again, we only need that much attack. Like, remember, we only have the 144. But even with the Intimidate, we still had enough. So, sorry, the 140. But we still have enough to get those wins. So, pretty quick game. But we're just going to go into another one and see if we can continue the win streak. All right, let's go into this one. This is a little bit of sand with, like, Roaring Moon. Big dragon energy here. We don't have that many fairy moves to be able to take advantage of this, but I still think we're going to be fine. I think this is a good game to show off the value of, like, Talonflame, being able to go above the speed control of those mons. Bringing in the ape, bringing in the Maushold, the safety goggles to take less damage from Sandstorm out and swap in on the Amoonguss, and then from there just using Crest to be able to recap off our Annihilape. Very good. This is a pretty good match for us. So T-Tar's fine, Roaring Moon's fine, and we can just actually, like, one-shot one of those mons right now. We can just go Tailwind, Drain Punch into one of those. We just have to guess where it's going to go. We could also just double swap. I want to see what they do. I think they're actually going to Terastalize this. I want to make them waste their Terastalization here. And I don't want to take my Gale Wings break right now. So we're going to pivot out for our Friend Guard. I think they're going to double into the Ape in this situation, or maybe click like Rock Slide, and then make this guy go like Flying Tera. We want to see which one of these is going to go Flying Tera, right? That's what we're really trying to wait out in this situation. And have Crest soak that damage, and then next turn go for like a Super Fang, Lunar Blessing, maybe even some Thunder Waves or Icy Winds. We don't need to like put as much pressure because they're the ones that have to like risk it for the biscuit in this situation. They're the ones that are risking everything right here. Where's the Tera? No Tera. Body press the Crest. TY, my guy. That was a weird play. Crunch. Okay, they were covering up for the Crest swapping, but you see we got good damage off that, and we can just go Lunar Blessing here. We can do so many things. I think in this situation, the Friend Guard's putting in so much work. You need to be able to protect to elongate that Friend Guard's position on the board. I'm fine just quick an Icy Wind. We could also just Ally Switch here. Ally Switch and like Super Fang are good. Yeah, Icy Wind's fine. There's the Tera. So now we can just always go into that T-Tar slot with Drain Punch. Body Press block. We already know they had the Body Press. Icy Wind, good damage against the T-Tar. It's going to make that thing slower than Crest for future turns. Crunch is fine. And in this situation, they have the Body Press. We're going to swap in the Ape. We're probably just going to go for a Lunar Blessing here. Just restore some of this health on this Crest. Hopefully not die. And we're going to start potentially building up some Rage Fist stacks. And then next turn, we're going to swap out the Crest for Maushold. Lunar Blessing, so we're outspeeding both those guys now. Body Press block. Crunch is fine, no crit. Oh, that's a high roll, right? Yeah, it was doing like 28%, and that one did way too much. Why did that one do so much damage? Oh, because the Friend Guard was gone. Yeah, it's still a high roll. It's still a high roll. It doesn't mitigate damage by half. Anyways, this is still a fine board state, though. We just go with the mouse here. Don't have to care about this T-Tar because it can't go Flying Tera anymore. We can just go Rage Fist into the Roaring Moon, go for the beat up. This is only a +3 beat up since our Crest got KO'd, but this is still completely fine. So you use Crest to get that speed control, or use Talonflame to get that speed control. And now we're in a situation where we're like in a great spot. What is this? Stealth Rock? Holy moly. Yo, go ride a circus ride out here. Stealth Rocks, huh? Stealth Rocks Crunch T-Tar. And take out that thing whenever we feel like it. Now that we're set on our Annihilape with all our bulk ups off, we can just basically go... I want to see the double protect in case they want to go for Earthquake. Also, this is the last turn of Sandstorm unless they have like the Sand Rock or something. So if that is like our Sand Veil Garchomp, we want to be able to wait this out. I don't think they're clicking sub. Even if they are, we can just go Super Fang into that. Poison Jab, not today. Nope. Nopers. All right, now we just get the Garchomp off the board. In this situation, there's nothing wrong with Follow Me. And we don't have to care about that T-Tar at all. Not even a little bit. Way too slow. So there's a Follow Me. Block the damage. Big damage on that Garchomp. All right, we're not dead there either. So in this situation, we are able to outspeed the T-Tar. So I'm just going to KO the T-Tar. Go for Protect here. Even get that Follow Me, and the next turn will be fine. So we have to take this like really slow, but like there's nothing they can really do in this situation. Yeah, they get a poison, but it's fine. Like we don't really care. Yep, we get that heal back, get our more Rage Fist stacks. And look what they have here, backs, Amoonguss. We actually can KO the Amoonguss right here with the Annihilape if we actually choose to do so. Gardevoir, okay. We don't need to Tera, but we do have Talonflame in the back. So what we actually can do is just go Protect here and go for like, And, you know what? We're fine. We're fine. We don't need to do all that. It doesn't take all that. It don't take all that. Poison Depth's fine. I think we actually are just fine versus this guard. I don't really care. Yeah, like, it wouldn't actually be able to OHKO us. And we'll just take out the Garchomp, bring in the Talonflame, and go for Rage Fist Tailwind. We are still outspeeding the guard here. Actually, we don't want to do that. Click the Rage Fist. Just win the game. Just win the game. They're not sashed. Forgot the power of Stealth Rocks, dude. Stealth Rocks busted. And Talonflame just takes it, right? So, like, the double dip Flying Tera is enough to take that one. So, yeah, this team works. This team definitely works. I think the changes that we made to this team really do help. It solidify and elongate games. We have a much bulkier Iron Hands. Talonflame is a little bit cleaned up, a little bit safer. Doesn't have to be as aggressive. Maushold, a little bit safer. Using those protects to elongate its friend guard and be able to weave in those leftovers with the Annihilape. Cresselia, great addition to this team. It's one thing we can pivot into block Urshi moves. It's another Mon that we can just use to get a little bit of speed control, so Talonflame doesn't have to do everything itself. It helps a little bit against Trick Room, and it's the Mon that we want to go into like phase 2 of checkmating people with Annihilape. Annihilape, we cleaned up its EVs just a little bit, made it have just enough speed to outspeed Genies at plus or minus 1. And then the bundle, we added the Encore, which you saw in one of those games. We can usually just Encore lock Genies if we lead ourselves correctly with Talonflame. So hopefully you like these changes. Again, the Patreon team submission post is linked in the description. If there's a team you want me to take a look at and do my absolute best to fix, think about checking out the Patreon. I'm doing my best to work on all of these this month. Like I said in a little bit earlier on in the video, I wake up in the morning and I just take a look at this post and I fix one of these teams, make a video about it, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I really do think that this team is a perfect example of a team that is like so close to being perfect. And I really enjoy fixing these sort of teams because it's the little changes, giving it just a little bit more pivot power, a little bit more defensive play to basically make you think outside the box and not have to go all in with like a Talonflame Dragonite. Now we have options to pivot and play the game at the tempo that we choose. So thank you so much to Deep Up for submitting this team, and thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out. I'll see you guys next time.